For the first time in 2019, Sebastian Vettel takes the checkered flag and wins the Singapore Grand Prix.
When we talk about Formula One, we often focus on the amazing cars, the newest tech, and the fancy race locations. But at its heart, F1 is about the incredible drivers behind the wheel.
Piastri stands on the power. 2 corners before we go back.
Pushing themselves and their cars to limits most of us can barely understand. Some races stand out not just for their place in a championship fight, but for showing driving skills that seem almost magical. Today, we look at some of the most impressive drives in recent F1 history. Moments when drivers did things with their cars that left us all amazed.
So yeah, that was quite painful. But yeah, basically we just ran out of tires.
From rain-soaked masterpieces to against all odds wins, these performances remind us why we love this sport so much. So get ready and join us as we revisit some truly unforgettable moments on track.
Lewis Hamilton, disqualified from qualifying yesterday, sent to the back of the grid. Lights out and away we go.
Hamilton, Brazil, 2021. The 2021 Brazilian Grand Prix will always be remembered as one of Lewis Hamilton's greatest races. Coming into the weekend, Hamilton was already facing a tough battle in his championship fight against Max Verstappen. Then came the news that would make his task seem almost impossible. A technical rule break resulted in Hamilton being thrown out of qualifying, forcing him to start the sprint race from the back of the grid. Most drivers would have just tried to limit the damage, but Hamilton, he is not most drivers. In the sprint race, he cut through the field with perfect timing, gaining an amazing 15 positions, but his troubles? They were far from over. A 5-place grid penalty for an engine change meant he would start the main race from 10th position. As the lights went out on Sunday, Hamilton began his charge. His overtaking was clean, strong, and absolutely breathtaking. One by one, he passed his rivals, showing why he is seen as one of the greatest of all time. The key moment came when he finally caught Verstappen, his title rival. The battle was intense, with both drivers pushing to the absolute limit. When Hamilton finally made the move stick, it was the high point of what can only be described as a perfect display of racing skill. From being thrown out of qualifying to winning the race, it was a performance that showed toughness, skill, and pure racing brilliance. Even those who were not Hamilton fans couldn't help but admire what they had seen. It was a drive that will be talked about for years to come, a lesson in never giving up, no matter what. Verstappen, Brazil 2016. If Hamilton showed his skill in Brazil 2021, then Max Verstappen announced himself as a future champion in the same place 5 years earlier. The 2016 Brazilian Grand Prix was held in terrible conditions, with rain pouring down on the Interlagos track. Many top drivers struggled to keep their cars on the track, but one teenager was about to put on a show we would never forget. Starting from 4th on the grid, Verstappen had already shown promise in his young career. But what happened next was simply amazing. As the race went on and conditions got worse, Verstappen found grip where others could not. His car control was just unbelievable. The standout moment came when he saved a massive slide at high speed, a moment that would have ended the race for most drivers. But Verstappen not only controlled the car, he barely lost any time. It was pure instinct, a display of car control that had commentators and fellow drivers in shock. In the final stages, Verstappen began passing cars in a way that didn't seem possible. He passed car after car, making moves that seemed impossible in the conditions. He found grip where more experienced drivers didn't dare to go. By the end of the race, he had secured a spot on the podium, but the result almost seemed less important than the statement he had made. This was the day Verstappen showed the world that he was not just a promising talent, but a driver with extraordinary abilities. It was a performance that people compared to legendary rain drives by Ayrton Senna and Michael Schumacher. High praise indeed for such a young driver. That day in Brazil, a star was born, and the F1 world knew they were seeing something special. Gasly, Italy, 2020. While the big names of the sport often produce incredible drives, sometimes the most impressive performances come from unexpected places. Pierre Gasly's win at the 2020 Italian Grand Prix stands as one of the most remarkable underdog wins in recent F1 history. Gasly had gone through a tough time in his career, being demoted from Red Bull back to the junior team. Many wondered if he could recover from such a blow, but at Monza, he answered those doubters in spectacular fashion. A red flag, and later a penalty for Lewis Hamilton, turned the race upside down, putting Gasly in the running for an unlikely podium. When the race started again, Gasly found himself in second place behind Lance Stroll. With a perfect restart, he put pressure on Stroll, and soon found himself in the lead after Stroll went wide. What followed was a display of mental strength that few thought Gasly had. With Carlos Sainz charging behind him in the McLaren, Gasly had to be perfect. The pressure was huge, but he did not crack. Lap after lap, he hit his marks, never giving Sainz a chance to make a move. As he crossed the finish line, Gasly became the first French driver to win an F1 race in 24 years. The emotion was clear as he sat in his car after the race, trying to take in what he had just done. It was a victory that meant so much more than just a race win. It was a comeback, a show of toughness, and a reminder that in F1, anything can happen on any given race day. The win was made even more meaningful because it came just a year after the sad death of Gasly's close friend, Antoine Hubert. On that day in Monza, Gasly did not just win a race, he wrote his name into F1 history with a drive that will be remembered for its perfection under pressure, are those that look the most controlled. Vettel, Singapore, 2019. Sebastian Vettel's career has been filled with memorable victories, but his win at the 2019 Singapore Grand Prix was perhaps his most impressive in recent years. Coming into the race, Vettel was under huge pressure. He had not won a race in over a year, and questions were being asked about his future in the sport. Starting from third on the grid, few expected Vettel to challenge for victory on a track where passing is very difficult. But a perfect strategy call from Ferrari, combined with flawless driving from Vettel, turned the race on its head. When Ferrari called him in for an early pit stop, Vettel had to drive a series of qualifying-like laps to make the strategy work. He did exactly that, setting lap times that were simply amazing given the situation. His pace was so good that when his teammate Charles Leclerc pitted from the lead, Vettel had done enough to come out ahead. From there, Vettel controlled the race with the calm confidence that had been his trademark during his championship years. Despite 3 safety car periods, which can often throw a race into chaos, Vettel never looked troubled. His restarts were perfect, his pace steady, and his focus complete. The victory was a reminder of Vettel's class and his ability to deliver under pressure. In a season that had been tough for him, he showed that he still had the skills that had made him a 4-time world champion. It was a drive marked by smarts, precision, and mental strength, a proof of Vettel's toughness in the face of hard times. These incredible drives are just a small sample of the amazing performances we have seen in recent F1 history. From Hamilton and Verstappen's epic battles to the surprising wins of Gasly and Perez, we have been lucky to witness some truly special moments on track. Each of these drives shares something in common. They all show not just driving talent, but mental strength, smart thinking, and a strong belief in oneself. As fans, we are truly lucky to see such displays of excellence, moments when drivers go beyond what their cars should be able to do, and remind us why Formula One is the top level of motorsport. These performances will be talked about for years to come, inspiring the next generation of drivers and thrilling fans around the world. Thank you for joining us on this journey through some of the most impressive drives in recent F1 history. Until next time, keep your love for racing alive.